For the first time in several years, the city of Bridgeport has a new permanent full-time city administrator. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the Bridgeport City Council last week approved Mayor Gail Byers' appointment of Dawn Martin to fill the position of Bridgeport's city administrator. Byers tells KNEB News that Martin's background as a former assistant city manager and emergency manager for Sidney made her a standout candidate.
She came to us with a lot of experience that we are looking for, a lot of knowledge, and her references were very complimentary as far as knowledge for the job and her personality as well.
Byers says Martin will have a number of issues to work on when she hits the ground running on March 13th. She says the city is working to address aging electrical, water, and sewer infrastructure and a related 5-year plan, as well as other projects in need of proper oversight. Well, following approval of incentives to attract educators to Scottsbluff schools, the Board of Education this month took a step to help retain those teachers and staff who have been and will continue to stay with the district. Superintendent Dr. Andrew Dick tells KNEB News the Return and Educate incentives, approved last week by the board, are a way of acknowledging the value of teachers and staff to the district.
Educators did tremendous work throughout the pandemic and still are today. As we looked at these dollars and saw this one-time opportunity with these federal funds, this was the way for us to basically acknowledge that work, show them their tremendous value, and what better way than to invest in the most important resource within our organization, and that is our people.
Every current district staffer employed with the district as of March 1st would be eligible, except the superintendent, and he explained how it would work.
It's a 2-phase program that, depending on the nature of your position and your full-time equivalency, it'll be between $500 to $1,000 that would be paid out twice. It would be paid in September of 2023 and then again in September of 2024 if you are still with the district.
Dr. Dick says educators and staff did tremendous work through the pandemic and still are today, and the board and administration wanted to recognize their efforts and express their appreciation. We'll have more news right after this.
Swipe right, swipe left, endlessly searching. Finding the perfect match isn't always perfect, but it can be when it comes to finances. Nora found the perfect business loan. Jenny opened her first savings account. Grammy loves her checking account. We found a match for Wilson Farms. The Sandersons were matched with a mortgage. Regardless of your financial situation, Platte Valley Bank will match you with the perfect solution. Find your match at Platte Valley Bank.
Welcome back. A Scottsbluff man is facing a pair of felony drug charges following a series of controlled drug buys conducted by the Wing Drug Task Force last October. 43-year-old Logan McLeod was arrested Wednesday morning in Gering on 2 counts of distribution of a controlled substance. In court documents, investigators say McLeod is alleged to have sold a total of nearly 3.4 grams of methamphetamine to CIs during 2 controlled buys last October. A preliminary hearing was set for this Thursday, and bond in the case has been set at $150,000 at 10%. Well, the city of Scottsbluff is looking at moving utility billing to a monthly invoice later this winter. Tonight, the City Council is scheduled to consider action on the first reading of the ordinance that would change billing from bi-monthly to a monthly billing cycle. If approved, the change will take place with the March billing cycle. and city officials say they will work with customers to resolve any billing issues during the transition. And the Kimball City Council is expected to consider a resolution tonight that would place an LB 357 half-cent sales tax increase for infrastructure before voters later this year. City leaders have been contemplating the additional tax to help pay for a new community pool, as the condition of the current facility is such that this will be the last year of operation. The council earlier this year approved placing the reauthorization of the LB 840 half-cent sales tax for economic development on the ballot for a special election on June 13th. If that panel approves, the LB 357 issue would also go before voters on that same ballot.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the FNBO Ag Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
The 2022 growing season saw several farmers participate in on-farm research in 80 studies under the guidance of the Nebraska Extension educators and specialists. John Thomas, Nebraska Extension Cropping Systems educator, says there are several studies they presented to growers.
We looked at different levels of nitrogen fertilization on 2 other studies this year to see if growers could maybe cut back a little bit on that nitrogen and still get acceptable crops. And we looked at a couple of inhibitor products that help inhibit nitrogen from being leached into the soil. And so we had a couple of studies looking at that this year.
Thomas explains more on the nitrogen leaching study they did on farms.
During wet years, nitrogen would have a tendency to leach down, be lost by leaching down into the ground and losing it. And there's some products that you can add with that nitrogen to help prevent that from happening. Now, as far as the studies go, the last couple of years have been fairly dry, so it hasn't been the greatest year to test those products, but that's kind of the way on-farm research works. You don't always have the best conditions to test what you're looking at. But yeah, those are called nitrogen inhibitor products that help keep that nitrogen in the soil and available to the plant.
Thomas says growers interested in being part of a future on-farm research can contact their local extension. The University of Nebraska On-Farm Research Western meeting was held February 15th in Alliance.
Hydrozen. Unplug and recharge. What is Hydrozen? It's total body relaxation. It's total body recharge. It's floating weightless on water. Floating your aches, pains, stresses, and worries away. Hydrozen is a revolutionary new therapy using Epsom salt saturated water as a way to relax and rejuvenate your body. And it's now available in Scotts Bluff. It is for most ages and has many benefits to the mind and body. Visit hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT.
Well, let's take a look what's happening on today's community calendar. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. Community strong with the people you know and trust.
Winter is here, and at Renewal by Andersen, we've gotten used to these words from our clients. Wow, our house is so much warmer with our new windows from Renewal by Andersen. There is no place like home. A warm, comfortable home on a bitter winter night. And Renewal by Andersen's windows installed by our certified professionals can significantly reduce your heating bills, make your home secure, wonderfully warm, and welcoming. Scan that QR code, visit rbawyoming.com now. Warm up at home with Renewal by Andersen this winter. rbawyoming.com.
At Platte Valley Bank, we want to help you plan for tomorrow while you enjoy today. Our personalized trust services can help you do just that. You've worked hard to build your legacy, and you want to make sure that gets passed on for generations to come. We offer the professional guidance necessary to ensure that happens, according to your wishes. We pride ourselves in being friendly and professional while offering a highly tailored full line of trust and estate planning services to accommodate you. You belong here.
And finally tonight, students at Gering's Lincoln Elementary all pitched in this month to help make a huge difference in the community. Teacher Sarah Klein says the school participated in their Change for a Greater Change fundraiser by collecting all of their spare pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters.
Yeah, our kids in our school just really wanted to help their community on both sides of the river. We just know that there are some families who struggle with food insecurity, and we wanted to reach out and make sure that their needs were met over the weekend.
Student Jamison Spahn says all the money was earmarked for the local Pup Pack program.
We just gathered a bunch of money and donated it to them.
Just all your change that you kept and things like that?
Yeah.
Did you beg from other people to get some money?
No.
No? So this is just all your change then?
Yep.
Last week, the students brought their change to Riverstone Bank in Scottsbluff to have the final count. And Klein says a lot of loose change can make a difference.
It will be. The community has really come together to help the students in need. So we have Mike Moravik with Bluffs Physical Therapy. Yeah, with Bluffs Physical Therapy, and they're helping. We also have the Mixing Bowl is donating, and if they reached a certain goal, the kids would get a sugar cookie, which they've met their goal. And then we also have Riverstone Bank, who is generously matching everything that was raised by Gering Public Schools and Lincoln Elementary.
When all was said and done, more than $9,000 was raised just by Gering Public School students, and that's not counting the matching funds to help the local backpack programs. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.